What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out podcast. Another episode. Two brothers giving our thoughts on the pop culture world and just our thoughts and shit in general, and stuff in general. I need to stop swearing. I don't know why. It's so natural to me. Anyway, I am in London, but
Yes,
we
he
are
is.
not together right now. I'm in the London headquarters. As you can see, the Batman figures behind us, which is Ash's collectibles and whatnot. We will hopefully do a podcast together, side by side. Kibla's in his location, and I'm at the other location. I'm not going to give out addresses and whatnot. But yeah, it's good to be home. Excuse me, my throat's all messed up. Like a week, right? Maybe 2 weeks. I've been trying to fight this thing that I've got, and the phlegm and throat. I won't be surprised if it is COVID. I mean, I don't want to mention that word because it's just a flu, but in whatever. But like, I feel like it's a variant because my body is normally good against all these type of viruses. Anyway, so excuse me for my husky voice and the coughing and stuff. Again, as always, please check the description, people, if you don't want to hear about us talking about what's going on with us, any of the real world issues that we talk about, and you want to go straight to the geeky news. Check the description; it's always there. You can skip straight to the Geekout news. But on that note, I'm here with Kibbs. What's happening, Kibbs? How you doing, man?
No, good. Same thing, man. Just trying to keep up with things. Three-man chair. We've had a kind of a busy week, but it's kind of slowing down now. I finished work finally, bro. So that's a week off, just doing Nathan. Still stuff to do around the house and stuff. I'd like to finish up on, but you know, I get to wake up a bit later and not so early. And I got back into training today. I said I need to get on my training, so just got back from the gym. I've got this training regime that I had back when I was in my early 30s, I think, which really helped out when it came towards like doing Tough Mudder and stuff like that, which cut me down in weight. So I'm looking to do that again. So it's like, you know, body groups of muscles, work on legs, work on midsection, work on top half. Because usually when I go, I just do everything. It's not really helping me. So a bit of cardio, but really slow, intense stuff. Nothing high intensity, and just working on that. But yeah, that was good. Went prayer today. There's a local mosque that's opened up, luckily, which is good. That helps me out. I get to go there, do my prayers, and yeah, man, just wrapping up. I know I was supposed to be featured on another podcast today as well, so apologies if you guys listen to this podcast. It's just way too busy at the moment, and to be honest, my mind is winding down. It's just been busy. So I'm happy to say it's amazing to get the chance to get invited and stuff, but I just want to be with family and chill.
Yeah,
I've done my running around this year. But yeah, other than that, it's been it's cool. It's good.
Awesome.
I just want to watch some TV and movies and chill.
That's it, man. That's what this week's about, man. It should be about chill. Just during this period, this holiday season, especially in the Western world, things are very quiet, right? So it gives us that opportunity to wind down, spend time with family, and again watch movies and chill and all that sort of stuff. Cool, man. Sounds good. Yeah, I went in deep into the shed today to try and find some of my equipment. I mean, I got the gym pass, which is in Bruce Grove. But I just want to do a workout in the garden, man. One, I got my equipment there. Two, I just want to be with the family. And I have this urge to not go train. So I'm like, you know what? Why not just work out at home? At least I'm still at home. I can still see the kids. I can still chill with them and just do my quick 30-minute workout and whatnot. So
exactly.
I dug deep into the shed, got my kettlebell. That's all I need, you know. I don't need anything intense. I can make a good workout with a kettlebell. So that's what I'm going to do every day. But yeah, same here with prayer. And that's it, man. I got a KA, bro. I haven't drank a KA in ages. And I was like, I want to kind of drink. Like, I'm on holiday. I want to kind of drink. Obviously, boycotting a few drinks and whatnot, like Coke and whatnot. I haven't had that in ages. So I'm like, what's not boycotted? KA came up. So I was like, all right, let's have a game.
Let's do it. No, that's good.
But yeah, it's good to be home. So good to be home, man. It's just so nice to be with the kids. It's nice to wake up to them, even though they're crying and screaming and whatnot. It's just nice. It's a lovely environment to wake up to a house full of loved ones. You know what I mean?
Always.
It's such a
good,
nice feeling. I go down, I see the kids, I see them wake up, I see them running around. It's such an amazing feeling. I'm off work. Work kind of finished anyway. Half day is quiet, so that's good. And then next week I'm working, but it's what do you call it? It's gonna be quiet. It's gonna be quiet. So I'm just gonna take the opportunity to do a bit of work and then just kind of chill really. So it should be quiet. But
no, that's good. That's good.
other than that, man, just gonna enjoy this time home. Put it that way. That's all I want to do. Enjoy this time home. Enjoy some good home cooked meals. And it's chilly. It's not as cold as I thought it would be, but it's definitely a bit more chillier than Dubai, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely
Cool, man. Well, look, we got a few things to go through today. Should we go through the segments? And take it
go
from
through
there?
the segments. Yeah, go from there.
Let's go through the segments. So we keep it kind of consistent. So let's get straight into it. So the first segment, as always, guys, real world issues. Again, please feel free to skip the timestamps in the description, so you can skip this if you don't want to hear it. We're going to talk about it always, and any other things. And when I say talk about always, it's always things that I guess affects us. And when I say affects us, you know, emotionally, there's so much things happening in the world. We're not politicians. We're not super educated towards everything. Before we speak, you know, and give our perspectives, we do try to get an understanding and do our own research and whatever the situation is. And the truth is, this is not, the podcast kind of evolved, and this segment came out of us really talking about stuff outside of the podcast. And maybe, I don't know if it's a good idea to leave it outside, but this is just our thoughts, man. And I think it's important to spread a message. And that's why we do it sometimes, man. So this whole Palestine situation, again, free Palestine. You know, again, it's just ongoing. More innocent people are dying non-stop. It's heartbreaking, you know. I'm trying to stay too much away from the news, but I need to be informed. And when I mean the news, I'm not talking about the corporate media, because that's obviously got one perspective, and I see that. It's in my face. I work for them.
Exactly.
But I'm looking at the other side, you know, the Al Jazeera's, the what do you call it? The alternative news sources. Are they called alternative? I think so. You got Crystal and Saga, the Breaking Points. That's a good one. You got, what's the name? The other guy, man. The guy who always shouts a lot. He's funny, man. Uyghur. Can't remember his name. You got a lot of other sort of stuff, platforms. Low key, very informative. I'm so impressed with the way how informative and how much detail and how clear and precise that he lays out facts. And he released a recent video about, you know, some of these individuals, and I'm not going to name their names because I don't want to, but how they're all linked and being paid off and whatnot. Some of them are just really just racist. To be honest with you, there's some people, and I'm not going to name names, who are just pure, straight out racist, and that's what this is what they want. But listen, man, you know, Dad was even telling me that it's like this stuff is, you know, it's making me crazy as well. I'm like, Dad, look, I get it. Be informed. Don't spend too much time on it. It's hard. What we can do is what we're constantly doing is we talk about it. We post about it on our Instagram or whatnot. I don't know if I'm oversaturating, but I'm just posting on anything I think is relevant. We should never incite violence or anything, so I never post any of that sort of stuff. I avoid even some of the destruction stuff in Gaza because it's hard for me to see it. I don't want like I said, I got access to dead babies on my phone. How crazy is that? And I can easily share it around. And you know what, in some ways it's important too, because people need to see the destruction, but I can't personally. It hurts me to see that, so I don't. But yeah, talk about it. Don't stop talking about it.
Exactly.
And provide, man, charity. You know, I mean, every month I've got a collection that I have to for a long time. I don't know how long, but for the longest time, it's going to go to them. So that's what, you know, we got to do our part. And the boycotting and all that stuff, I mean, people have different perspectives on that. We're having a discussion with our internal friends about that.
Yeah.
I think from my perspective, there's things I can stay away from, you know, Coca-Cola, Starbucks. And don't get me wrong, I was on a weekly Starbucks thing. Me and my missus have a weekly routine where on a Friday after prayer, get a little Starbucks, we chill. Excuse me, guys, sorry. So, but it's easy to stay away from the thing. McDonald's and all that sort of stuff can stay away. So actually it keeps me away from that stuff. And we just take our business to local businesses, local cafes and all that sort of stuff. So I get it. I get the perspective that some people say, if you boycotting a company, then that company will obviously go lose money, but then people are losing jobs, like people like I think it's Morocco or Egypt, Starbucks and H&M, I think it is, have been completely bankrupt, so they're leaving. So yes, that's a lot of jobs lost as well, which is tough. That is a tough one. I'm hoping that the business that was supposed to be spent on them went on other local businesses, and that might give the opportunities for those workers to go get a job there and stuff like that. I hope. I don't know how economics works and all that sort of stuff, but but
it's interesting.
Yeah,
and even I've skipped. I went through the conversation. I didn't get involved because they've got such a grip on us, bro. It's unbelievable. They've been working on things for centuries. And guys, this is just my thoughts. No anti-Semitic, no like racism or anything like that. I don't promote violence. Even the boycotting part, I find it hard because I did agree with what Ahmed said. Because
yes, I agree with
everyday person loses a job and they're struggling because of this war. So it's a chain reaction of things that happen. But look at what they have created and invested in to make it a necessity for everybody's life.
Yeah, I mean, think about
it's necessary. Some of that stuff is necessary. Some of them people, but they ain't nobody. There's people out there that don't cook and all they eat is McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, think about it this way.
Anyway.
I was gonna say, like, the boycotting and Starbucks losing billions of dollars and whatnot. It goes to show, and that guy from Middle Nation, I like the way he speaks. The guy keeps saying that reminds me of Malcolm X. It goes to show that it shows them, the corporate, that the people are still in charge, no matter what. Now they have created a system where we rely on their stuff, right? Which is why they make billions and all that sort of stuff. But these boycotts show that the people, no matter what, are still in charge. And it's hard for the people to rally together and show that. I mean, think about it this way, bro. During COVID, they closed all the local shops. But who stayed open? The big Tesco's, the big, whatever, necessity grocery stores, right? Sainsbury's, I just said Tesco, but all of the necessity grocery stores, the corporate ones, were allowed to stay open because they were necessary. But the local corner shop, who was also sells the same things, were not necessary and they were not allowed to stay open, right? So we were forced to shop at these places. A lot of local shops were closed down and whatnot because the big corporate ones were allowed to stay open, right? So, all right, cool. People had no choice to buy groceries from there and that sort. But now we're in a position where we can boycott them and spend at local shops and whatnot, and hopefully grow their businesses. Now, some people can't boycott or whatnot. I get it, be it lifestyle, whatever it is. There's reasons, but I agree. I don't want no one to lose their job, but it's a tough one. It's a tough dilemma. I can personally live without the stuff that I boycott in, right? I never shop at Zara and all these shops anyway. I don't do clothes shopping. I go to markets and all that shit. I prefer that. Coca-Cola, Starbucks, McDonald's. Okay, I enjoy that food like stuff. I could stop, so I have. But yeah, it goes to show, man, that you lost $11 billion. The people have spoken. The people are in charge no matter what. I know we're controlled by these big corporates and politicians, but the people are in charge when they do rally together. I just hope that the people keep peace, because it's important for us to raise our voices, to stick together, to protest, but to make sure it's peaceful, man. Because the moment,
that's important.
The moment, listen, you're going to get bad apples anywhere, but the moment there is one, they use that. They use that everywhere. The protesters are supporting Hamas and they're bad and they're inciting violence. Or what? One person out of a million or two people. That's what they do. But, it's tough. Listen, man, and I just want to touch on this last point. Yemen, man. Yemen. If listen, the Palestinians, man, that they've opened everyone's heart, they've touched everyone's hearts. They're just, it's heartbreaking what's happening to them, but they just got their faith and whatnot. And there's all these things about why doesn't all the Arab other countries just take them? I mean, look, that's the agenda. That's what they want. They just want to get rid of all the people but that's ethnic cleansing. That is ethnic cleansing. You're basically telling them, come off your land and just go to another country. And they keep kind of use that again, the propaganda that they're using. It's like none of the other Arab nations want them. It's like, no, that's not why are you trying to blame them when you're basically trying to ethnically cleanse them? But I brought up Yemen because, man, they've made impact. Look, they've been, I don't think they've killed anyone or hurt anyone because I haven't heard that, because obviously that would be all over the news if they had. But they've stopped
No.
any ships going through that Red Sea, and that's made a big financial impact on Israel. Massive. And not even just Israel, the Europe and whatnot. There was something I saw that BP announced because of that, what Yemen's doing. And Yemen is just stopping any ships going. Like, they're not killing anyone. They're just
No,
not even
that's right.
hijacking or stealing anything. They're just like, no, you're not allowed
No.
to go, and they're stopping the boat. So BP announced that they have stopped all their shipping going through that route. And immediately within an hour, you got the Prime Minister of this country here saying, I don't even want to say his name, but of the UK, immediately within an hour saying, we need a permanent ceasefire. I mean, within an hour. I mean, how does that tell you that this is business? It's all about
Because they knew
and money.
They knew, bro, straight away. That's panic mode right there. That is that's a panic mode right there. Because you know what would happen, bro? The people, it's weird to see this slowly happening now, because you know we read this in comic books and you know fantasy and the rest of it, but you know they do movies about this stuff. I mean, Viva Vendetta is like one of the key examples that the people shouldn't be afraid of their government. The government should be afraid of the people. And that moment there, that panic made him scared. Because if boycotting is working, then, you know, it's working, bro. That was panic mode, bro. Within an hour to make that type of decision.
Because petrol prices, all that stuff got. I mean, big up to Yemen. And they're doing it
big
in a
up
way,
to Yemen. Yeah.
They're doing it in a way that, like I said, if they were killing people, the whole, oh my God, more terrorists, that's what they'd be calling them, right?
But you know what? You heard the first couple of news rounds where they're saying pirates or something.
I think they'll talk about the Somalians, because I think the Somalians have come out as well. I think so.
Because they were talking about Yemen and they were talking about pirates and they're talking about disruption. And I was like, hold up. They're flipping the story there.
Of course. You know, just to quickly change the subject a little bit, do you know the Somalian pirates? Do you know why they're called pirates? And do you know why they did what they're doing? Like, of course, the Western world would just say, oh, they're pirates and look them up. No, they were fishermen, general fishermen, trying to just catch fish and whatnot to supply fish to the villages and their families and all that sort of stuff. And do you know what started happening? These corporate big ship bastards, whoever the hell they are, started polluting the oceans around where they used to fish. So their fish and the stuff will be contaminated, they'll die and all that sort of stuff. So they lost their sense of living from like fishing and all that stuff. So they had no choice but to go up to these big ships and tell them to kind of like in a way say, get the fuck out of here, you're killing my livelihood and whatnot. That's how these pirates, I shouldn't even be calling them pirates, but that's how they
man, see, that's how bad that is. I did not know that.
That's what I'm saying. So even Captain William Phillips or whatever, that movie that came out about the Somalian pirates, okay, that situation happened. Why didn't you explain why these pirates were formed? Because you were killing their livelihood, the fishes and stuff like that. Look into it. They were formed because they're not just rebels for the sake of it. They were normal villagers, fishermen.
Fucking Western media shit,
crazy,
bro. That's crazy. And the fact that it's always, you know what? I've never, ever talked about race and equality and difference for a long time, and cultural clashes and shit like that for a long time. But on the way to the gym, I was listening to the and cultures and religion. The Western media, anybody who's slightly dark, which is absolutely insane. To come up with that is amazing. But we grew our own shit as well. But we wanted to get our own amazing. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, let me go down to Idris's room because
be on the safe side, bro.
Basic. Internet's so crap up here, it's ridiculous. Go on, you carry on though. Carry on talking.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, you know, we've come to the 21st century, bro, and we still haven't been able to resolve stuff like that. We still got classing issues. We've got hierarchy chart issues. We've got people issues. We've got, you know, country issues, cultural issues, race issues. We still live in it, bro. We live in this time where, you know, a million a million man march back then, and still Martin Luther got assassinated because he had just too much. You know what I mean? Same thing with Malcolm X. Same thing with anybody that was speaking out about the way things are run. The thing is, I think people are more open now because of social media and everything else has come out. But there are some people that are just kind of they're not there because they still have to live their everyday lives and get through the day, man. It's already fuck system as it is. Anybody in the UK at the moment now is struggling. You know, it's hard. It's hardship, you know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it, bro. Listen, man, my heart goes out and my prayers and my duas go out to the people of Palestine. I'm doing the best I can to give what I can on my side. Guys, the link's in our description. It's all on our social media pages. Do what you can to help those people. But they are resilient people. And some of the stuff that I've seen, as much as it's broken my heart and, you know, brought me to tears, I've been able to see the strength that they have as well. And it's horrible. You know, I looked at the numbers recently. I hate looking at that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if people and countries are starting to come together, which is amazing, and communities are coming together and people are talking more about it, we've got to let people know that this is what's happening right now is wrong. If these guys were supposed to be strategically military professionals, right now, someone's gonna have to pay for this, bro. Someone's pay for this. The truth needs to come out.
Well,
Thing is, the truth will never come out. We'll know as people, but something has to happen because that is insane, bro.
Yeah.
I
mean,
insane.
the whole world is, the thing is, this is the how come my internet's still basic, man? Fucking hell. First world issues. I'm crying about fucking internet, and this is what's happening in the world. No, but like, listen, the whole world has spoken out this time. It's been a very different one because there has been a mass killing. There has been in this, even the freaking US president, man, I can't believe he even said it, but I think he got to a point where he had no choice. But what word did he say? Like an indiscriminate amount of killing, like coming from him. The Pope has called it terrorism. This is what I'm trying to say. The whole world, China, I think one company in China has stopped its shipping routes coming through the Red Sea. Now, one says it's because of what's happening in Yemen. The other side says it's because they're against a genocide. I don't know which one that is. But anyway, Malaysia has said to Israel, no more, your docking boats are not allowed in our ports anymore. Like, more countries need to do stuff like that. That's what we're talking about, right? It doesn't have to be violence. It could be just stopping the economy to those countries and whatnot. That would affect the European world as well. But you have to think about it this way, because I know the Western media and the corporate media, they all think they're right, and we've been fed that our whole lives. Everyone's bad. I'm not saying anyone in the world is good. I'm saying everyone is the same. But we've always been fed that Russia's terrorists, all of the Arabs are terrorists, China are bad. Again, I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying they're all bad. And we've been fed that the Western world is the good guys. Fact is, we know the truth. They're all the same, right? But in this case, man, the whole world is speaking up. It's like, really, the whole world, South Africa, South America, some countries in Europe, some countries in Asia, the big ones like China, Russia, all them, they're all speaking out against it. But what? You're still right? Like, listen, it's an agenda that they've had for 75 years. The difference between colonization now compared to back then, there wasn't social media. The whole world wasn't aware of all this sort of stuff. So I think they're probably upset that they couldn't accomplish their mission of occupying the whole land. And now they're in a day and age where there's technology, there's communication, we can see everything, and the people are speaking up. Back in the days when they took over, like, you know, America or whatever, no one knew, right? They didn't even know it existed until that Columbus dude found, I think he landed in Jamaica or something, like, or Caribbean islands before he got there. But the point is, no one knew, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, nobody cared or even knew what the hell was happening. But with this one, the world is aware, and all the war crimes that Israel, everyone's talking about. Like, it's not just people just making up shit. The world is saying it. The only people that are saying that it's not true is, of course, the corporate media, the ones who, you know, the corporate and the politicians on this side of the world who are saying it's not true. When I say this side, it's mostly the UK and mostly the US. There was another UN vote that happened, bro. Another UN vote. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was they do another global UN vote. I think it was 174 countries voted ceasefire. 4 countries voted no. US, Israel, and 2 other random countries, right? When I say random countries, we're talking about we don't even know what the hell they are.
No.
That's how much the world is aware of what's happening compared to 2 countries, Israel and the US. It's absolutely ridiculous that they actually still think that they're right and that they're on the right side of history. They're on the wrong side of history. That's a fact. In the history books, it's going to be down, you know, but that's what their hope is like to take over the land, do whatever, let time go past, and people will just forget and forgive and move on and whatnot. In this case, it can't work, man. The Palestinian people need to have their land. They need to work on that 2-state solution. The terrorist president that they have in Israel, he's said openly, I mean, all of their people have been saying that they don't want a 2-state solution, but he's openly said that he's always prevented it. Like he has prevented it, and he's happy that he's prevented the 2-state solution. And even to this day, they're saying it. They don't want to do a 2-state solution for the people or for the Palestinian people in Israel. So they want Gaza. That's just facts now. That's out there. So there's no hiding that. Now, how the world, and more specifically how US reacts to that, is going to be a tough one. Because the US, unfortunately, man, just one stinking country, or not even a country, not even a people, just a percentage of those people. And unfortunately, the idiots in charge who love war, fucking love war and love killing brown people, want this to happen. So I don't know, man. Like the world, I think is doing a good. I think countries like Malaysia. I know it's like months on, but Malaysia, Yemen, and South American and Spain countries that cutting diplomatic ties and all that sort of stuff. That's what the world needs to do. That's what the world and all the other countries, supporting countries, need to do. To make an impact. We don't need war. We don't want war. We don't want no innocent people dying. Do those sort of strategic things. And that will
so
force
late
them.
though, bro. So late.
And
To
I
lose
know
20,000.
20,000 people, 8,000 children, babies. Bro, if you hear, I heard again, all right, man, I shouldn't even say these names, bro, but I did watch Piers Morgan today, and he had a debate with this guy called Douglas Murray, who I can't stand him. He's a literal racist. And I hear his name on Joe Rogan's podcast all the time. And I love Joe. That's my podcast. I'm always going to it. But in some instance, and especially in this one, I don't agree with Joe Rogan. I know he tries to be middle, but he's definitely anti-Muslim. Like when I'm not calling him an Islamophobe. What I'm saying is like with Joe Rogan, who I love, and I'm always listening to his podcast. It doesn't matter. He's always had people who, in this case, have been pro-Israel. He's previously had people who are talking negative about Islam. He's never had someone to challenge those. He's never had an Islamic scholar one to challenge any of those. So he's had Islamic people one, but not a scholar or whatever to have those things. So what I'm saying is, I'm not saying he's Islamophobic, because he always tried to emphasize he tries to get both sides of the stories, but in this case, he doesn't.
He didn't.
But what I'm saying is like he tries to say he's in the middle, but he's not. So his interest is more in understanding the negatives of Islam that people claim that they are, and then also the pro-Israeli side. So I still love him. I'm still listening to Joe, but they talk about this Douglas Murray guy. This guy is a racist, man. I'm not. There's nothing else to it. His agenda and his perspective on things is purely, firstly, based on racism. This is my objective. This is just from my perspective. I know. I listen when I say this. He's definitely intelligent in some ways, but I'm saying his main perspective is like he doesn't like Muslims and the perspective of the Islamic world and all this sort of stuff. So that agenda comes first. And this other guy, look, I got to tell you the name because it'd be basic if I don't give you his name. But they had a debate and whatnot, and can't remember what I was going to. But Douglas Murray is just pure racist, man. I don't like his racist perspective, man. He's coming from that racist perspective. What's his name? His name is CENK. How do you say that? Senk Uyghur. Senk Uyghur. Anyway. Yeah. But the Young Turk, their podcast is the Young Turk. check their channel on YouTube is the Young Turks. Check it out. They got 5.7 million
Excuse me.
subscribers. Again, they're alternative news source. But yeah, no, I can't remember what I was going to. But these people are like I say, like people like Douglas Morris and whatnot. You know, I'm naming all the names now. Ben Shapiro, fucking even Jordan Peterson, who I'm re-listening to his book. I really respect the perspective of him, but it's a shame that because he's a very intelligent guy. It's just a shame that he's chosen to be ignorant towards this whole situation. But he's chosen that because he's been paid off. And Loki exposes all of that. That new video, I should have mentioned the names earlier. Fuck it, I mentioned it now. Loki exposes all of them and how they're being paid off. So their agendas are not objective. Their agendas are not human. They are literally based on, power and money, the agenda of Israel stealing the land from the full land from the Palestinians, because they've already stole half the land, which is done. I really don't think you could give that land back. It's done, because there's a lot of innocent people that have said that you can't. Those are innocent people too now, and it's not their fault because of their politicians and whatnot. But watch that video by Loki. It's really, really good. Oh fuck! I went into it. I always get
definitely
into
I'll
it
check
now.
it out.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah. All right. Listen, guys, do what you can. Support. Links in the bio on our social media pages. Please. There's so much more to this. So much more to this. But if you can help people, that'd be great.
All right. Cool. On that note, guys, let's move on to the next segment. Things we watched. Invincible. I'm gonna start off with Invincible. So 4 episodes came out of season 2, and I watched the first few episodes, and then I took a long break. I don't know what happened. I got into something else or whatever. And just on the day I was flying out, actually, my flight was in the evening. I was like, let me just finish off these 2 episodes. Finish episode 3 and 4. Man, that 4th episode was deep. Now, spoiler alerts, guys, if you haven't seen it. But Omni-Man, obviously, at the end of season 1, just fucked shit up. Their race they've been bred to take over worlds, right? And the supreme, they think they are the what's the word I'm looking at? The alpha of the universe. So they take over the worlds. Think of it as Krypton, and each Kryptonian's objective is to go to a different planet and take over because they're the alpha. So he done what he did in season 1, but then what you see in season 2, sorry, at episode 4, is the beginning, that little epilogue of him really regretting, like, having the emotion, because he fell in love. He did have a kid who's obviously invisible, and that when he was just flying through space and the universe and crying, and like it hit him. It really made him, from seeing him at the end of season 1, who you're like, this guy's an evil bastard, to seeing him 4 episodes later and having that little epilogue, you're like, oh shit, hold on, there's something there. They just humanized him a little bit for me. And you just had that connection. So I thought that was really amazing that they could do that in a cartoon. And then the way that episode ended was just crazy, man. So I'm looking forward to see more of that show. I mean, I was gutted that Seth Rogen's character got smashed.
Alan got it, yeah.
I would love to have seen
Optimus
him more.
Prime's voice when he shut. Oh,
what's your thoughts on that?
Listen, bro, really good. You know me, I'm at animation. I'll always love animation. I think animation is the best form of telling a story like that. And I think for comedy, it's the you could do so much, bro. I mean, look how violent it is, and it looks good, and the kids are drawn so simple yet so like, it just works for me, bro. Like, I love the animation, and I think it's great. It's great to see the mental health aspect. You know, Invincible is suffering himself as well in the process. You know, and then same thing with and his journey, man. It's a journey. I mean, you're getting to be in like the superhero life, and you don't realize what comes with it, the loss that comes with it, the friends you lose with it, and then Omni-Man himself, bro. That is insane, bro. It's like, he was going through. He genuinely felt like shit for what he did, which is amazing, and they showed that. He looked amazing with the beard and the hair and shit. I love that. I'm gonna draw that. I want to draw that. That looks sick. But then, you know, the realities of something like mid-season finale, it reminds me of, you know, there's such a character flip on what they did with these are Kryptonians that take over, bro, and don't give a shit. This is what would happen if Superman didn't give a shit and wanted to take over. This is, you know, it's insane, bro. Really good. I loved it. Looking forward to seeing the rest in the new year, definitely. But all it's so good, bro. So good.
Definitely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think that and the boys universe is definitely a different take on superheroes. They really took a different take of this whole superhero world. But yeah, cool. That was Invincible. I was gonna get on to the other thing. Was there anything else you watched before I announce what we watched the other day?
No, nothing else. Just we've been all over the place.
All right, well, let's get into that. We'll talk about the DC universe later when we get to that segment. But in regards to Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom, we got a chance to watch it. Check out the review. It's on the podcast. Or it's on the channel, sorry, on the YouTube channel. We got a chance. The day I flew in and landed that evening, I got a chance to watch it. I'm not gonna
Yep.
lie. We can go into a bit more detail now, and this is a spoiler alert one, right? The one that
Spoilers,
came out
guys.
was no spoilers, but
No
this one is
spoilers.
spoiler alert. I was tired. I was jet lagged, and I was like, you know what, Kibbs, I don't know if I could be bothered. I'm tired. I'm glad I went. I'm glad I went because I said this on the review. I enjoyed this better than the first one. I was just entertained throughout the whole movie. I felt a lot more relatable character building and relationships between with Aquaman himself, who became a father, who's trying to protect his father and his he's trying to protect his kids and his family. He's a king who doesn't really want to be a king, but he doesn't know what to do and what decisions to make. It's a massive responsibility, and that's on his head too. His relationship with his brother, that in from Aquaman 1, that he had to, you know, fight for the throne and whatnot, which he really didn't want, but he had to because his brother was going to wage war against the land people, which is humans, us humans, and then so he had to make that decision. But then that building up the relationship with his brother. I mean, this is what I was talking about on the review. It made it so relatable because we're brothers, right? And whatever they're going through, I could relate to that with you and Ash or whatnot as brothers. And ultimately, even though his brother was his quote unquote enemy because he tried to get rid of him and all that sort of stuff, no matter what happens, and his father kind of said this in some words as well in the movie, which was what you spoke about, is no matter what, a brother's love is a brother's love.
Exactly.
And they're united. And that was amazing. And that's what I'm saying. This movie for me, and the action was awesome. We spoke about the action. Action was amazing. I thought great choreography. The Trident fight was absolutely amazing.
So
I
good.
got goosebumps. I thought that was awesome. Action throughout the whole movie, but the relatability of these characters in this movie, like I said, the relationship relatability, all of that sort of stuff was what got me. And I was like, oh, like you got me. Like I'm such a fan. And it's so heartbreaking now that one is it's a great way to end the DCEU with a great movie. But two is heartbreaking that it is done. And three is a shame that it's not gonna it's not gonna make the money that it's supposed to. There's no hype around it. The fans have
No.
sold out. The fans are out, basically, not sold out, they're out. And Warner Brothers themselves are just like, yeah, whatever, it's out. You know, it's one of their highest like budget movies, and they're like, whatever, go watch it, who cares? But you
Yeah, it's
spoke on
such a
this.
shame.
Yeah, you spoke on that a bit. And we can get into that part after, but what about the movie itself? What did you think?
Now, listen, bro. As I said, spoilers in this as well, guys. Gilman's already spoiled it, but I'm going to spoil it a bit more. Listen, bro. Visual effects, I absolutely love it. It's the underwater. There's one thing that kind of really captured me. It felt like an anime, which was really good. The fighting, the punching. When they punched, it really felt like it was a heavy punch. They don't usually do that in most of the previous ones we've seen. Absolutely enjoyed it. I had a great time, bro. Listen, I don't know what people are expecting. No, you know, there's more to it, and we're going to talk about that later on. But for a comic book movie, you know, it's not nothing new. it takes us in. It does some world building, which I really enjoyed. You know, it talks about all the lost kingdoms and all the other Atlantean worlds as well, which is amazing. Like areas, which is amazing. You know, the part with the dad was quite emotional. You know, he calls his dad a superhero because of what he did as a single parent. That's amazing, you know. And you know, the dad responds back in saying, you know, I kept moving forward, and yes, sometimes it was shit, but I continued to move forward. I think that really hit me because you know, it's been a fucking struggle here in real life reality, bro. So it was nice to kind of see that in that as well. Listen, bro, like the war between, you know, the what do they go, the land and the sea, and how they don't want to trade secrets, and you know, and this is what happens now. Like countries don't want to even trade shit because they feel like we don't want to help these people because they're not going to help us, and if they do it, they're going to make money off it. You know, it's all sorts of shit like that. So they bring a bit of reality into it, but it's still a comic book fun movie. You've got creatures. James Wan's directions and his creature designs and stuff like that were insanely good. It's an entertaining, fun film. I said, this is Fast and Furious in water. It's just an adventure all the way through. I honestly can't say anything else. Like, there was nothing bad. There was some moment. Somebody said it looked like PlayStation 2 CGI.
That's
I would
definitely not
love
true.
that. I would love that person to go to the person who worked a year on that, 2 years on that, and understand. I think I'm coming from it from a creative, so it always hits me. So we're not ones to shit on people's work. We could give it constructive feedback, which we do, but I think the world runs off this negative thing, and I think people have killed this franchise because of the negativity, and people getting views and likes. Because, bro, and we're gonna be honest right now, we don't get many views on this channel. We grow very slowly, but we don't give a shit about that. We don't get many people commenting and liking the rest of it. We don't really give a shit. It's never meant to be that. It's a passion. It's something that we love. I was actually telling this to somebody at work this morning on a call. They were like, "Oh, isn't it time to monetize and try and get views and more followers and the rest of it?" What is it gonna do, bro? What is it gonna validate in my life? Having more followers on the channel and more people engage. Like, yes, it's nice to have engagement, but what does that make me feel like? There's a reason why we started this, is because we love talking about this stuff. So it's us just talking. It still is us talking.
But we've been
But
there.
never. Yeah.
We've been there. I mean, the reason why we don't want that is because we've been there and we realized what happened was we were accommodating for people, for the likes, for the views, for the clicks. And what happened is we didn't enjoy it. We did not enjoy it immediately. Like I say, the numbers we were getting, 50,000 fucking views. We got up to 2,000 subscribers almost immediately. It was boring. It was shit. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to do a trailer reaction for this movie. What the fuck is this movie? Like, we did it. That's what I'm trying to say. So to try and think about monetizing again and getting more, that means it's going off path again and accommodating what people want, which is not what we want. And then it gets boring. Through us doing it organically and doing what we like and what we love, it has naturally grown. We've grown an amazing fan base, right? People that I call friends now, like Yusuf, like we're chatting all the time. I use him as an example, but we're chatting, and shout outs to him. I know he's watching. He's the man. I consider him as a friend now, and I'm like, I want to get him more involved with the BMAs and all that sort of stuff. You got a lot of fans that you know that you've met and whatnot, friends that you've made within that whole circle, and these opportunities of going to to build these relationships up with these big movie studios, right? Going to these movie premieres, having the interviews that you just done, meeting Jason Momoa, meeting Kevin Smith, all these sort of things came from this organic channel of shit that we wanted to talk about.
Exactly.
Right? Nothing came from the other one except thousands of views and what. Nothing came from that. It was boring as fuck. And that's why it didn't last. And if we tried to carry on doing that, it wouldn't have lasted and there wouldn't be a Brothers Geekout podcast. And we made a conscious decision and we made a smart decision to let's start again, Gibbs, and let's do what we love. And look at where we are now. Telling you. So
no, exactly. And this is what I'm saying about people shitting on other people's work. And because they do it out of validation, bro, because they want them likes, they want them views. And that's just my thoughts and my opinions. That's so that it doesn't get mixed up. But listen, if you enjoy having a good time in the cinema, it's a great popcorn flick. That's all I'm saying. 100% great popcorn
I
flick.
think so.
It it reminds me of. It's not at the same level, and that's my constructive feedback. But it's a chase movie. They're on a mission. They need to get something done, and they're on the go. Yeah, it's a formula. It works. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, and it's got great chemistry with the brothers. Great visuals, which I absolutely enjoyed. But I'd like to get to the person who actually said PlayStation 2 graphics. I would love them to have a conversation with the artist that worked on that project. I think people forget the hard work that goes into this. James Wan, as a director, the visuals that he has to do to sit back and try and visualize how is this going to look and how the CGI is going to come in. How are my creatures going to look in this movie? How can I make them look unique? There's so much in it. The thousands of people that have worked on that movie, bro.
Yeah, that one I don't get and understand. I mean, because I was watching, and we're gonna get into it on our retro movie reviews. When I was watching Big Trouble in Little China, and I was like, wow, at this time in 1984 or 1986, I think it was, like, wow, that was amazing. But you look at it now, it's like that's shit. Now I know things have changed, but what are you comparing it to? Avatar, who spend and emphasizes on the graphics. That's emphasized on that fully, right? That's why it takes many, many, many years for James Cameron to pull that movie out, right? This is not purely emphasized on the graphics. It's purely based on these comic book characters, building up these characters, building up these universes, making these characters relatable. If it was based on CGI, it's like, cool. All right, well, here's a CGI fucking movie. If you want a quality CGI movie, go fucking watch Avatar, right? Because that's beautiful, right? And it's meant for that. So I don't understand that one. People want to pick that up. So fucking what? But I didn't think the CGI was that bad.
No,
Honestly.
I thought it was great, bro.
Not one part of me thought, oh, that was bad. I saw some things. I was like, that don't mean shit to me. I did want to give shout outs to Black I was gonna say Panther as well. Black Manta. He looked awesome. I've said this clearly, man. I've said this before. I honestly, like I said, the first one, I enjoyed it, but I thought it was a little bit boring from my perspective. I didn't really enjoy it as much as other people. I thought Black Manta was very cheesy. Excuse me, in the first one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I did. In this one, he was awesome. He looked great. I loved his motive. It carried on from the first movie all the way to this one. There was extra motives on this with the with the Black Trident and the evil king or whatever it was. But he was awesome. He looked great. His fighting was awesome. Abdul, what's his name? Abdul the second or something. He played it so well. I thought Black Manta was amazing in this one compared to the first one. The first one I thought very cheesy. This one was so fucking good. So good. Yeah, shout outs to him, man. He looked great. It was awesome. And also shout outs to what's his name? Jimmy Woo? Is it Jimmy Woo?
Yeah.
I like him, man. He's such a I don't know how to put his acting. It's very like his acting, no matter what he does, it's easy to watch. He's easy.
Yeah, it's easy to watch, yeah.
Yeah, he's just him. And he's so I think he's just great at what he does. Like he's so immediately I'm like, oh, I just like his character. He's got like I don't know how to explain it, but whatever he's in, I'm interested in his character, like whatever he plays. I think if that is real name, Jimmy Woo, yeah, he's a brilliant. I think he's brilliant. He's got something about him. I was going to use the word charming, but it's not charming. It's charismatic, man. It's
charismatic, yeah.
He's just awesome. I like.
He's
it,
good.
Man.
He's good. He's good. No, definitely. Now listen, bro. There's a scene in there, as we said, with the choreography of the two Trident fighting was really good. There's nothing really to spoil in here, guys, to be honest, because it's the end of the line and the movie's gone through so many cuts and productions, and they took out the Batmans and they didn't want to link it to anything else to kind of just finalize it, which I think was fine, bro. I mean, would have been nice to see Batman there, but it didn't bother me. It was nice that it didn't have cameos, and I think that's the one thing, and that's what I'm afraid of moving forward. Like, there's so many characters in one movie. How do you look after all of that shit, bro, before it gets messy? But
I think Marvel
Yeah.
done a great job. I think they done, honestly, I have to say, up to Endgames, I think they done a great job. After that, Spider-Man was awesome. They done a few good ones, but yeah, I mean, look, I think it would have been good. Look, I would have loved to see Batman in there. I would have
Mm.
loved it. And because this is the end of DCEU, it's like, why not? Why not just put him in there? Anyway, doesn't matter that he wasn't in. I was surprised Amber Heard was in there. I was heard I know she got a lot of her stuff probably cut out, but she was actually pretty good. In my opinion, I thought she was very
Yeah, no, that's right.
again, as a mother, as trying to help the king, as even defending an action, she was good. Nicole Kidman was pretty good. Dolph Lundgren was good.
Yep.
um,
There's there is a scene there because Orm and Aquaman, they've come in from two brothers, and they have this really weird relationship back and forth where they don't call it like Mama calls him brother. Orm's like, don't call me brother. And there's a scene with Dolph Lundgren losing, and he goes, "Help me!" And then Orm does this smile, and I was like, bastard, he's gonna be a bad guy. But it was a nice relationship. It's a nice redemption story for him. He came
that
back, he saved him.
that scene,
I
that's what I was just about to say. That scene made me feel good. I like those things. It was a
Yeah,
redemption story. I like that. It was
yeah,
that relationship that he built back up was nice. That trust that he built back up with everyone was what I kind of like. Maybe I'm just a sucker for those things, man. But I like those things. I
no,
like it
same
when
here, bro.
yeah,
Same
I
here,
like it
bro.
when people overcome adversity or overcome whatever to become good again, I guess. And
Yeah, there's nothing wrong
yeah,
with being bad, bro. Just it's how you do it. You can make decisions, bro. Because I think in life sometimes you gotta be a best to do stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, and remember, he's in the first one. The reason why he wanted to wage war on the land people is because they were fucking up the oceans. You know what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
So, like, everyone has a motive. Like, now the way the way you handle your motive, if as long as it's not genocidal, man, and you want to kill everyone, there's different ways. But them some of
Exactly.
those people like him, Thanos, they get to a position where they're like, no, that's the only solution. I need to snap half the universe away anyway. But their intentions are well. Their intentions are to either look after their home or they've gone through shit, so they want to avoid other people coming. Like their intentions are well. Just the way they want to execute it is obviously the wrong part, the very wrong part. But yeah, no, I was gonna mention something else about that. Nicole Kidman was good. Flanagan was good. Yeah, no, bro, very entertaining movie. Very
A good
entertaining
fun
movie.
movie,
Better
bro.
than the first
Very.
one, in my opinion. Better than the first one.
Oh, well, glad you enjoyed that. That's good.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Well, look, let's move on, and we'll get back into the DCU later. In regards, our next segment is what we have read. Now, I read issue 2 of the Punisher, our new Punisher, Joe Garrison. Still hard
Mm-hmm.
for me to say that. Frank Castle. There's a nice, like Frank Castle. It sounds good. Joe Garrison. Still not getting the hang of it. Anyway, I read issue 2. This comes from a biased Punisher fan. Read issue 2. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still giving it a chance. Issue 2 goes into a little bit more on his a bit of background, because obviously he's getting revenge for his family, and he feels responsible for his family's death because he was a Shield agent who was kind of like an assassin for Shield, basically, right? So
Okay.
he feels one of the missions, and obviously assassin the bad people, right? What he feels like one of the missions or whatever he's done in the past has led to the death of his family. What he finds out at the end of this issue is that his wife was also involved in some shit which got the family killed, which is basically she was giving out information about these bad guys. So she was basically like
Oh,
whistleblowing some of the shit about them. So she was giving out information. When I say giving out, I mean exposing. Sorry.
mm-hmm.
So he's finding out that his wife, there was more to his wife than he knew. And also she made decisions as well to expose these bad guys, which led to the death of his family. Now, the story's still evolving. I still have questions. I still want to ask, why are you wearing the skull? Like, what is it? I want to go learn this. This is what I want. Did you like, what is it about the Punisher? What is it about? Because everyone's calling him the Punisher because of
Mm.
the skull. That skull represents the Punisher, regardless of
Yeah.
Frank or whoever it is, right? my question is, and I really hope they get into this, is why did Joe decide to put that Punisher skull on for this revenge that he was trying to get for his family? What is it about Frank do you respect? Because if you did not respect Frank, then you would not be wearing the skull. Now,
Yeah,
did
exactly.
you wear, are you wearing the skull because like maybe you didn't have respect for Frank then, but then when something happened to your family, you understood where he was coming from, and you're like, I get him now. I finally understood why he did that, and then out of respect you're wearing the skull, or did you always respect Frank because of what he did? Because he was an
Mm.
assassin anyway. So did you always respect Frank's point of view and thought, you know what, I'm gonna carry this legacy on for Frank. I mean, I got questions. Listen, these might not even show up in the comics, man. But I got questions. Why are you wearing the skull? As a Punisher fan, I want to know, why are you taking Frank's skull? Like this is me as a fan talking, right? Why
Yeah, yeah.
why are you taking that? I want to know, Joe. Like, if you're gonna be my new Punisher, tell me, why are you taking Frank's skull? Like, make me think. So that's what I want to know from this. And I hope Frank shows up again. I really want him to. He might even show up at the end of this one. I hope so. But this is what a biased Punisher, from my perspective, a biased Punisher thinks of. I'm giving this guy a chance. I'm enjoying this comic book. My question to Joe Garrison is, why are you taking Frank's skull? What is it about that? And
Mm.
I'm talking about it like they're real people. But that's my perspective, my review of this comic.
All right. No, that's cool. No, it sounds good. Sounds good. I think I need to pick up on that. I haven't read anything, bro. It's been absolutely busy. I need to start doing my daily reading again, so I'm looking to plan that in soon. But nothing. I was trying to finish off Devil's Reign. I haven't finished that off, so that's on my list to finish up. I started the Harry Potter, which I need to start finishing off as well. Yeah, I got loads to do, bro. Loads to do. It's been so busy. Loads to do. Loads to do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the only other one again I'm reading was the Spider-Man one. They're in the 2000s. He's like 50 years old. They're going through the Civil War part now, which is pretty awesome. He's old as fuck. And they're fighting against Tony because of the whole Civil War stuff. Really awesome. Loving it. Cool. I won't spend too much time on that one, but that comic's good. Let's move on to the next segment, man, because there's been some big news here. MCU. Now, Phase 4 has been on the down, had a couple of spikes up, right? With Shang-Chi, in my opinion, Shang-Chi, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a couple of spikes up, but in general, the trajectory of Phase 4 has been down. Even
Mm-hmm.
though we've watched all of it and we'll carry on watching it forever. It's kind of been down. And then Marvels came out, and I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it was great, but I enjoyed the movie. But I went down because it was the lowest grossing comic book movie of all time, or something like that, right? And then just before the new year ends, they took another plummet down with Mr. Jonathan Majors,
Mm.
unfortunately, or fortunately, I shouldn't even say the word. But Jonathan Majors has been he's been locked up for a year, and he's been found guilty for assault. And I was listening to a couple things and whatnot, and I think he was being a cheating bastard. And then his girlfriend or his wife or whoever it is saw some messages. To get his phone back, he ended up kind of assaulting her, I think, like fracturing her finger and stuff like that, pushing her into a car, all this sort of stuff. Listen, no matter what, listen, I love Jonathan Majors. I think he's a great actor, fucking amazing. You don't hit people. You don't hit, especially like your wife, your loved ones. But you don't assault people, man. So he was wrong, and now he's facing the consequences. And then in
Mm-hmm.
result of that, he's been dropped as Kang the Conqueror. Like I said,
Yep.
Marvel's taken a big dip down. But look, I hope Jonathan Majors takes this time that he's going to be spending in prison to really, change, because people could change. He made a mistake, a big mistake, and I hope that I pray for him that he gets over this and comes out of it better and whatnot. But the MCU, yeah, we lost Kang the Conqueror. Now, before I hand it over to you, man, I just want to give you my thoughts on how they could pick this up. So I think Loki season 2, as crazy as it sounds, I think it sets it up, kind of set this up where they can move away from Kang the Conqueror for now. So I feel like instead of recasting Kang the Conqueror, which is an option, you could do that. There's variants out there. It's crazy that there's 3 different looking Spider-Man variants, but every other variant looks the same. Like, no, there could be a different variant of Kang the Conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
That's an option. I think you can use the option. You can use this, what you did at the end of Loki season 2, where Loki became the new, time, whatever, the who he remains, timekeeper thing.
Mhm.
And you start shifting the story towards Doctor Doom.
Shit.
What happened?
That's why they did it. That was a backup plan. The
You think
ending
so?
changed.
Well, there you
Yes.
go. I mean, if that's the case, if that's the case, I mean, because you can move away. This is what I was gonna say. You start shifting the story towards Doctor Doom, right? Now you have a whole epic 7 to 10 years Doctor Doom saga. Now, Kang the Conqueror's out there still. He's still out there, right? Now, say Jonathan Majors comes out of prison. He's a changed man. Look at RDJ, man. Look at what he went through.
Mm.
And look at him now. We love him. And he went through a lot of mistakes. He got his redemption. Maybe Jonathan Majors, 5, 10 years from now, wants that same redemption story. And we give, and not we, but not just people, but he gets his opportunity back to become Kang the Conqueror again and get that redemption story back. Maybe that's a possibility because you can bring Kang back in the future. You just change this
Mhm.
whole multiverse saga into something else, move away from it because it hasn't, and maybe that could just change the trajectory of the story of the MCU. But that's my perspective. I like that idea. And Yusuf was talking about that on the WhatsApp group, and I was like, I fucking like that idea. So I'm kind of stealing his premise, but I like that. Yeah, getting Doctor Doom, and maybe a couple years later, get Jonathan Majors back. Hopefully, give him that redemption. Unless he's still punching people, then you don't. But he's such a great actor. I hope he doesn't.
Yeah.
Hope he's well. And then you get back to Doctor Doom in the future. So much potential. What's
So
your
much
thoughts?
potential. So
What's your
so much
thoughts?
potential. Listen, bro, man, it's a shame what's happened. Yeah, nobody has a right to do anything like that, bro. That's it's insane, but violence is the part of humans, which is I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I thought, he had an amazing year, bro. He did some amazing films, bro. I think as an actor, he grew as well. It's just such a shame it came to that point, bro. Listen, uh, I kind of agree with you with the redemption story and the rest of it, but you know how society is and people are. Remember, RDJ did that almost 20 years ago. Nobody really, looked into people's lives the way they do. There was no social media hardly then. Now, bro, you know what was a sad thing? People, celebrate wins, but see people destroy when you lose. Uh, my
I find that
timeline,
weird as well. So
yeah,
I just to say I find it very weird that people celebrate other people's failures. That's a bad thing in society that we have. Go on, carry on. Sorry.
yes, that was it. Yeah, it's a shame. My timeline, I ended up unfollowing loads of accounts and companies that all they do is just promote the shitness of, oh, it didn't work, it didn't work. They started these comicbook.com. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say names and the rest of it. They started these because they had the love for comics. They had the love for adventure movies and comic book movies and movies in general. And now all they do is just shit on people's work. Shit when somebody fails. Shit. Rotten Tomatoes. Shit. Bro, fuck all those websites. I'm sorry, and a couple of you listeners, this is just me, bro. I actually I can't believe how many I unfollowed because I joined them and followed their accounts because they used to give, you know, good stuff out there, like, good interviews with characters, and all they want is dirt and shit now and spoilers. Fuck that. I'm not going to follow you no more. So I stopped. And yeah, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame because my timeline was just full of Jonathan Majors, epic. Like, it's like, fucking hell, man. There are people dying across the world. Listen, the guy made him. He's done what he's done. That's fine. Let it be. Man,
He's
they've
facing the
flooded my
consequences.
timelines, bro.
He's
Yeah,
facing the
he's facing. Yeah,
consequences.
exactly.
Prison, and he lost one of the biggest roles of all time, which is being a part of the MCU and a big bad, not just one character. You're talking about a big saga based on him. Listen, I agree with you. I stopped following all of them. One, because of the spoilers, I couldn't take it no more, and two, because of that, the hate and all that. But this is why I love Kevin Smith. That's why I love
Mm,
Kevin, because he's been in it. He's a fan from day one, and he's
hmm
been in it from day one. And yes, he says some things are basic or whatever, but he loves it all. He's easy to please,
He
and
takes a really, yeah.
he understands. He's made movies. He understands the hard work. He understands the failures. He understands the criticism.
excuse me, that people give him without fucking hell, I'm losing here. He understands the criticism that people have given him and shitted on his work, the hard work that he's put in, his visuals, what he thinks is a success, what he feels happy about, and then he puts out there and people want to shit us. He understands it. So that's why he never shits on any of this stuff. He might say stuff is basic, but he loves it from beginning to end. And that's why I always follow him and I always want to hear his perspective. But he's
No,
always never
exactly,
gonna shit
bro.
on people. So love to him. And yeah, fuck, I'm the same. I've stopped following loads of other people.
Yeah, I've come to a point now because it was that really ticked me off a lot. Listen, he's done bad. I've got nothing, you know. There's not like I've got remorse and I feel for him and blah blah blah. No, like what he's done is fucking bad. You know what I mean? Come on, man. But then it's not that, bro. It's full of spoilers and people talking shit and people abusing other people, and I've just stopped following those accounts. But those were the accounts that originally started it off because they loved comics and
All those
they
channels,
lost that love.
and all those channels grew massively because of the MC.
Massively
Now
because
you want to shit on them, right? Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I find that very jarring, bro. Very jarring. It makes you think, like, you know, what are they doing it for now? And it's not the love. It's the clicks and the views. It's the clicks and the views, bro. I'm telling you, the gratification that people are getting because I got this many likes on my post and, you know, and the rest of it. And I think, bro, we're coming to that society where, listen, bro, I can happily say my last video got 5 views. If it connects with that one person, I think that's what people are losing, bro. And their mental health has got bad. And I think having that breakaway when I came off social, like from Singapore, really solidified my process because I suppose because of the job I'm in and the work that we do, I ended up becoming a numbers man. And I started concentrating on the numbers too much and realized, shit, I've lost a love for this, man. Fuck this. I can't bother to do it. What am I putting all this shit up for? Then I went on holiday, went to Singapore last year and realized I shouldn't really give a shit about that at all. Shouldn't give a shit about that at all. And ended up falling in love with just putting content out there. And, you know, some of it will do great, some of it won't. That's fine. I think that's the way it works. That's the way the algorithm is. But I've realized now, like, legacy is more important to me than anything else. And that is legacy, what we've done. That's stuff for the kids to look back at. We've got, you know, 4 beautiful kids in the family now. And they've got history on all of us now. They'll have to watch the podcast when they're over 18.
My fault. Sorry.
And mine as well. But, you know, they've got history. They've got something they can look back at. You know what I mean? And those accounts I'll never delete because they can go through it whenever they want. You know, so I think need to start thinking about that. I think they don't think about legacy and the respect that they leave behind. They want to be on the top for giving out shit gossip.
Bro, I think the best thing that happened to us is that we failed with the first one. And when I mean failure wasn't the numbers. Failure was not doing what we loved. Like I said, it was a success in regards to numbers. It was a failure because it wasn't what we wanted to do. I'm just glad that we both recognized that we're going down the wrong path. We are not doing what we like. That was so important. You have to understand that part of us recognizing that old channel was not the right path, considering the views and the numbers that were coming in. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I keep saying numbers, man. Like, we were getting those 50,000 views and all that shit. Considering that shit, we both recognized, and that was a pinnacle point of the Brothers Geek Out, and it was so important for us to both recognize them. And I think I don't know how we did, but it took great discipline and it could take great self-reflection. We had to reflect on it, and I think I guess honestly it came from our emotions as well. Kids, I can't be bothered. This is not fun. And then we're both just like, yeah, what the fuck are we doing? Let's start this shit again. And we just stuck to what we're doing. And I could honestly say everything that we do, anything you see on our content, everything that we talk about, all the little shorts that we do is purely based on shit that we like, that it's generally affected us in a certain way. We generally like it. We generally want to promote it. We generally want to give our thoughts on it. You'll never catch us giving some random review for something we don't watch. Might give some news on it if it pops out on the news, or maybe some thoughts, but never spend too much effort on it. That's just my thoughts. I really think what everything that I post on the channel is genuine to me. It's gonna be the MMA stuff. It's gonna be the comic book stuff. It's gonna be some video game stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, listen, with the YouTube channel, like, I generally, we had a goal to reach 600 subscribers. We're on 585 now. I don't. Well, we say we don't follow the numbers, but I have been following it, of course. But that's, again, organically doubling our subscribers from last year to this year. We we didn't reach that 600 yet, right? But we're 15 subscribers away from reaching that goal, and that was all organic shit, and that's amazing. I think we've accomplished amazing. Next week, anyway, we could do a overview of the last year when we do the podcast. But anyway, all right. Listen, we spent some time on Jonathan Majors. He's facing the consequences for his actions. May Allah bless him and help him, guide him into a better path. And let's see what happens with the MCU. Today, What If comes out, so we'll check those out. I don't think they will disappoint. They were great animations. I don't see them disappoint. So let's check those out. See, we'll review those. And then Echo is going to be in January, which looks fucking awesome. So you never know, where it takes us. Real quick, finishing off with the MCU stuff. Comic book icon Steve Ditko estate. Steve Ditko's estate and Disney finally reached an agreement on their dispute over major Marvel superheroes. So I think there was a dispute going on, right, for the longest time. I think they've come to an agreement. Obviously, Steve Ditko and Stan Lee and them will create these characters, but politics and business always takes involved and shit. And I hope Steve Ditko's family and his name gets what they deserve, because he's a big part of some of these characters and stuff.
Of course.
All right, last one for the MCU. Captain America Brave New World hires Scrib Matthew Orton. Is that his name? Man. Additional shooting plan for mid-2024. So anyway, the movies are picking back up again. And I think they're going to start production again for Thunderbolts and all that sort of stuff. So we're back on track, and yeah, let's hope that the MCU and shit picks up, because I want it to succeed.
No, same here, bro. Same here.
Moving on to the next one, and I've changed the segment name to DCS, the DC Studios.
End of an era, man. Yeah.
End of an era. So let's talk about that first. Let's talk about that. Because I didn't want to get into it too much with your Aquaman thing. Let's talk about it specifically. The end of the DCEU. 1 second. Yeah, go on, Kai. You clips, you go.
Oh man, end of an era. Listen, man, I had a great time with the DCEU. It was quite emotional. I put up a post today of Superman screaming after he killed General Zod. And I'm gonna miss it a lot. But moving on forward, listen, I'm excited with what James Gunn is looking into. We're gonna get some new projects, new creatures. It'd be interesting to see where they go with it, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, same here. Look, end of an era. It's been a great one. I really enjoyed it. I know it shouldn't have ended that way. I really wish it ended with, like, be it Snyderverse's perspective, like an end game moment. But anyway, it is what it is. I think it ended with a great movie. Which is Aquaman 2. I think that's great. I think, and I wanted to touch on this point, because I think you made a great point. Warner Brothers and DC Studios and whatnot, they messed up by announcing this after Black Adam. Because any project after Black Adam, which we've had a few, Flash, Blue Beetle, this one, was destined to fail. It was such a big mistake to announce it. And they should have finished off with Aquaman or whatever it is and say, guys, we're stopping, take a break, then make a big announcement in the future with James Gunn. Now, I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad James. Honestly, when I think about it, I'm glad he got rid of all of the Snyderverse actors. Let's start fresh. You cannot keep one, because one character remaining as who they are will remind the fans of Snyderverse. You got to get rid of that, and you got to move on. Secondly, they're taking a year break. We're not going to get Superman in till 2025. I think a year break's going to be great.
Exactly.
Let's just move on and whatnot. But I think you're right. They should never have announced it after Black Adam, because anything after that was a fail, and that's not fair on the creators and the directors and the actors and everyone involved in Aquaman, in Blue Beetle, in Flash, and whatever came out. So that was a big mistake that they did. I don't know why they did that. I'm not a strategic business person. I don't know, but just
I
from
don't think they are as well, bro.
yeah, I
Like,
think
how did they mess up on something like that on such a large scale where you're like, come on, bro.
yeah, because you're literally telling the fans, hey guys, we got these movies coming out, Blue Beetle versus Mexican superhero and all this stuff. We got Aquaman 2, we got The Flash, which is gonna have Michael Keaton in it. But just so you know, these movies don't mean shit because we're gonna cancel this universe. Why tell us before it happens? Like, oh god, it was such a dumb mistake. But I mean, listen, businesses make dumb mistakes. I mean, you saw what happened with Bud Light last year and whatnot. So people make mistakes. I'm glad they lose, man, and it's unfortunate, but hey, listen, it's been the end of an era. Man is still, listen, some of the films I'll point out in that Man is still, I fucking love it. BVS, I'm not joking. The extended version, I love it. Justice League, the extended version, I love it. Aquaman
Bro,
2,
Wonder Woman.
those ones I
yeah.
like. I'm not gonna say I love. I like. Blue Beetle was enjoyable. Black Adam, I thought was enjoyable. Flash, Flash, I loved. I'm putting out in the love column. I love that one. I don't care.
Suicide Squad, James Gunn.
James Gunn's one, yep, love. That's a love one. I have to say. Listen, man, I enjoyed it. What a great universe. Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought amazing. Jason Momoa as Aquaman, amazing. Even Gal Gadot. I'm not a big fan. Listen, I'm not going to go into the politics, but there's a reason why I'm not a big fan of her in general. But what she did with Wonder Woman, I enjoyed. I wouldn't say her movies were great, but in my opinion, what a great universe, man. What a great attempt. But you know what? I'm not going to say it's a failed attempt. I'm not going to say that. But with James Gunn, it's only going to go up. I'm so excited for what happens with the DC Studios. I'm very excited for what they're going to give us. And I'm very excited that they're going to hopefully take their time. James Gunn has experience working with the MCU. And in general, he's just an amazing forward thinker. I feel like we got some exciting, amazing DC stuff coming soon. And I think a year break is going to be an amazing thing. Forget about it.
It would be. It would be.
Take
I mean,
out
we've
the
got the
window.
Joker. We've got Joker 2 coming out next year. That's the only thing.
You're right. Otherworld stories. What about the Batman? What about the next Batman? That's not next year, is it?
No, I think the year after.
What about Penguin? Penguin next year?
Yeah, we've got the TV show Penguin as well. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Otherworld stuff, cool. I say with DC Studio stuff, that universe, I say don't say a single word until you got a freaking trailer for Superman, and then bring that trailer out and say we're back. We are back, and let's go for this new studios. I was seriously make everyone
they don't
forget.
say nothing, man. Keep everybody forgetting. Exactly. Come back with like a bang. Stop putting news out. Excuse me. Yeah.
Okay.
No, exactly that, bro. But yeah, moving forward, bro. Moving forward. I'm gonna miss it. I'm definitely gonna miss it. I think Ben Affleck was amazing. I think Henry Cavill was so cool. Cyborg, bro. We didn't get enough of Ray Fisher as Cyborg. Cyborg was sick in the extended cut, man. We got played for that one, man. We got played. Honestly. Oh, but yeah, continue, bro.
Agreed on Cyborg. I didn't mention him, but 100% agreed. Yeah, that's a shame. Anyway, we move forward, and that would definitely be some of those, especially some of those movies, especially some of those soundtracks by Hans Zimmer, whatnot, would always be a part of the memories of movies and whatnot. Okay, guys, moving on. That's the end of the DCEU. Moving on from that. Oh no, one more thing there. James Gunn has confirmed that the upcoming DC series Arkham is set in his DC universe. The series will be produced by Matt Reeves. Additionally, Reeves will be producing not only projects set in the Batman universe, but also projects set in James Gunn's DC universe. So exciting stuff. It's building, guys.
Okay, that's good. That's really good. Really good.
All right, the next segment, what the future beholds. This was fake news actually. I saw a trailer for Home Alone 3 with the real like new age Macaulay Culkin and whatnot. And then it had old school Pesci and all these and then I watched it and then I put it on the list and then I watched it again. I was like, man, this is some fake ass shit. So sorry, fake news on what the future, but it looked good though. It looked good. Old school Pesci and the other guy, I forgot his name. The Wet Bandits were back. Old school Macaulay Culkin. It was funny. It was some funny fake ass thing. But anyway, I didn't see anything new on that section. But anyway, moving on to the next segment. Godzilla Minus One. This is getting so much bloody hype.
We need to see that. We need to
Yeah,
see
let's
that.
check it, bro. I got that voucher, man. Let's go watch it next week sometime.
No, I'm on that. I'm on that.
On it. Let's do it. So that is getting so much great reviews. And apparently they're bringing out a black and white theatrical one in Japan.
Okay, cool.
So that's gonna be in January, I think it comes out. So we need to watch this movie. Bro, it's getting so much hype. So I can't wait. Let's do it next week sometime. Okay, Disney and Netflix latest deal will bring Lost and Prison Break to Netflix early 2024. So, you know, can go back and watch. I never watched Lost. Maybe I could get into it. I don't know. It looks like The Rock is getting back in the ring as an actor joins forces with one of Chef brothers for the new movie Smashing Machine. So it's based on Mark Kerr, who was ex-UFC fighter, MMA fighter, was a wrestler and whatnot. The Rock announced this a while back, but he's finally getting made and whatnot. And it's a story of him. He was literally a beast. I can't remember him exactly, but he was I think he was definitely in the early UFCs or whatnot. And just as a wrestler, he was just an absolute beast. So the Smashing Machine. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, I'm gonna watch that for sure. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is set 300 years after Caesar's death. So I was wondering that with the new trailer. When is
because I thought it was like his son, but it's not. It looks like it's continued.
Exactly. So I mean, the only link is 300 years after. So just a heads up on that one. And then Warrior, the Bruce Lee writings of Bruce Lee will not be returning for season 4. I think that's it. And I have to be honest with you, I got halfway through season 2 and I lost interest. Maybe there's so much more to watch. Maybe I just wasn't captivated in the stories and whatnot. But I lost interest on that. So it doesn't really bum me out too much. But they won't be returning. That won't be returning for season 4.
Okay, interesting.
All right, moving on to video game stuff. I did want Ash here, but he's tired, man. So I'm just gonna let him rest. But Insomniac, excuse me, I'm losing, man. Big gas and sore throat and shit. Excuse me, guys. Insomniac is making Spider-Man 3. It's in development, so that should be awesome. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 is a big success. The Spider-Man games have been a great success. They're also making the Wolverine game, which I might be interested in because people keep saying that it's might be similar sort of gameplay to Ragnarok for not Thor, God of War, which I'm a big fan of. So if that's the case, I might get into it.
Boom, that sounds good.
So that should be interesting. And then Tekken, for you Tekken fans, Tekken 8 demo is out. So go download it, check it out. I'm gonna try and get a download on Ash's one later on, so I could get a little game on it as well. I'm gonna purchase the Tekken one. I think when I get back to Dubai, man, honestly, I think I'm gonna sell my Street Fighter 6. I played it, enjoyed it. Beat 'em up games, you get a bit bored of them, in my opinion. For me, it's best to play those games online and all that sort of stuff. I just don't have the time for that. But I think I'm gonna sell it and then use the money to buy Tekken. All right, that's it. And then the last thing to finish off the podcast, as we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, is retro movie reviews. And this week is Big Trouble in Little China, 1986, Kurt Russell. Bro, I had to introduce my missus to it the other day. I was like, we're gonna watch this, because I've been thinking about it for a while.
What did she think?
So first she was like, this is like cheesy and all that sort of stuff, which it is if you watch it now. And then she started researching it online, like, you know, checking the actress and all this sort of stuff. She was like, that girl's not Chinese. My missus is half Chinese, so she's not trying to be cultural appropriation. But she's like, she's not Chinese. She started researching into her, and she found out she was like mixed race, but she wasn't Chinese. Like, I mean, she was.
Mei Ling.
Yeah, she was like mixed race, like Vietnamese and something else or whatnot. And then she was like, gee, I'm surprised that people are still debating over this movie to this day. There's new blogs coming out for this movie to this day. Like some of them are funny and all this sort of stuff and whatnot, but it's still people are debating about the movie and talking about it and whatnot. So she was just impressed at how it's got so much how it's made an impact in people's lives to this day. And then she was just like she enjoyed it for what it was. I was like, I was like, listen, you are watching it brand new for your 2013 eyes. I've seen it through my 1986 eyes when I was just a baby to my 2023 eyes. So I can appreciate for what it was to what it is today. And to me, bro, it was like the first, I maybe there were some other movies out there, but to me, it was like the first sort of like an adaptation of an anime, a first sort of
Exactly.
like superpower, supernatural type of movie with powers, and like you had Raiden. Look, I mean, Raiden was 100% had to be influenced by my guy in this movie.
Exactly.
Right? I
Exactly.
don't the look
Exactly.
and feel and everything. You know, Kurt Russell's character, the famous as Jack,
Jack Burton. Yeah.
Jack Burton would say, he was just just the funniest, typical, most American dude ever, which I loved. The truck driver one, it was just so perfect in that role. The martial arts were great. I'm not gonna lie, I really liked it. I appreciate the martial arts and the spinning kicks and the flying. But like, there were scenes that you watch when I'm watching it. Well, now, like I say, you think they were cheesy, but back then they were awesome. Like when the other guy, what was his name? The Chinese guy, the Han, was it Han or something?
Who?
The other actor, the Chinese guy.
Egg
What was his
Shen.
name? Not Action, no, the young one that was with Kurt Russell's character, that was with Jack Burton. I forgot his
I
name.
can't remember his name.
Anyway, he was having sword when he was battling that dude with the sword fights and whatnot, and how they were flying in the air and in the air while they were fighting. This is all anime shit, man. This is all manga, like sort of perspective type of action and whatnot. It's freaking awesome. The character designs, the costume designs. Lopan used to scare the shit out of me with his fucking bald head and 2,000-year-old body and all that sort of shit. Like even watching it as an adult now, like I'm kind of like, oh shit, I get it, man. Like there's things that you miss as a kid, and now you kind of understand it a bit better. Obviously, he wants to become human because he's been trapped and cursed in this for 2,000-year-old body and whatnot. So of course, the best way to do it is find some fit beanies with green eyes and marry them, and then you become human. I was human. I was telling my missus, I was like, how crazy is this for him to become human, right? Because he's a supernatural immortal. For him to become a human, he has to do the holy matrimony to his gods of marriage. Like that's how much marriage fucks you up from being a supernatural immortal to becoming human. And my guy wants it. I'm like, all right, well, you got to do marriage to do it. It's like, but yeah, the green-eyed thing, all of that sort of stuff, like it's just it works. It works back then. That's what I'm trying to say.
No,
like,
it works back, but it still works now because it's a rewatchable film. I'm like, without a doubt, every year, bro, I watch it. I think I watched it twice this year, just because the cheesy dialogue, but the visuals were wicked, bro. John Carpenter is a guy who does the directing, the visuals, the editing. My guy did the soundtrack, bro. John Carpenter, man, I got nothing but props for that dude. My guy's still bringing out albums now because he's a musician as well. It's amazing, bro. So rewatchability, it's got that type of nostalgia to it. I mean, we were speaking to Jeremy Adams, who's a producer and a writer for the new, the Mortal Kombat animations that come out. Come on, bro. When I saw that cage match, I was like, bro, all I see was Big Trouble in Little China vibes. He was so excited on that interview, bro, man. I wish that part of it recorded because he was like, I'm glad that somebody saw that. And even when I met him, I was like there's something about those movies that still resonates right now because of the feel of it, the look of it, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Movies from the 80s and 90s, I love the look of them. The shit that we see now, like I'm not calling it shit, sorry. Like what we see now is too clean, bro. It doesn't have that kind of out of world experience. It feels real world, too real world now. When you watch something like Big Trouble in Little China, you could tell that's a different world.
Apparently, that's what the fans want. Oh, the graphics were basic. I want it to look so real world.
Well,
That's what I'm trying to say.
PlayStation 2, yeah?
PlayStation 2. No, bro, you're 100% right on that perspective. I love the way the 80s movies look. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah. So, you know, visuals, physical props, physical, you know, venues and stuff like that, sets. I don't care, bro. It's one of the greats. One of the greats. One of the greats. One of my all-time favorite movies. So, no, definitely. Really love
When they were in Chinatown in the beginning, when he was driving his truck into those narrow ass roads, I was like, how the hell did you do it? My missus was like, oh, that looks blatantly like a set. I'm like, I know. That's what's amazing about these movies. They actually built sets. It wasn't just computer graphics and whatnot. Or, you know, like booking the main roads or like that out there. They actually built sets to visualize how John Carpenter had his vision. The one thing that made me laugh that I was picking on the most was, and I named him the most epic waste of time guy of all time, was the electric guy. Coolest fucking guy ever. But at the end, you know, when they were escaping, he could have easily shot them, but he's like, and they're escaping. All of them are escaping. He's still like here and there. And I'm like,
no, but he has to generate that power. See, I'm going to back this up, bro. He was generating that lightning, bro.
I nominated him as the waste of time, the most waste of time guy ever.
No, bro,
bad aim. At the end, bad aim. And then, sorry, wait, let me finish. And when he came up, because he didn't do shit throughout the whole movie except yeah, and then great effects, though. I fucking love it. And then he came up floating somehow. And then rather than shooting the other dude, he just started, and they dropped the statue on his head. And I'm like, he's amazing. He looks amazing. That's fucking Raiden. But I nominate him as the most wasted time guy in the whole movie because he didn't do shit and he kept him missing as well. So he lose. But I love him. He was fucking awesome.
I think what John Carpenter did with that character was actually spot on because lightning is generated, so you have to use an immense amount of energy to create it. But, bro, you don't know where lightning strikes, bro.
Okay. That's a good point. So this motherfucker was born to miss.
Because you don't know where it's going to hit.
Oh, God. Bro,
I don't care, bro. It works perfectly.
He's the best.
And being
the best.
elder.
When we were young, how cool was he? When we were young, and he's cool.
Bro, we were doing that shit all day long, bro.
I was telling the missus.
Yeah.
She was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "That's just their gang sign, whatever." I was telling the missus that Kibler's best friend, Nabil, may he rest in peace, and Kibs, they used to do that all the time. I mean, this is how impactful the movie was. That two friends who live in Tottenham, and I'm sure there's millions of friends around the world, would do that to each other because of a movie, you know, just give them the whatever. It was just a symbol of friendship. It was a symbol of unity. It was a symbol of we're together. And I was like, this is the impact of some of these movies, which might be cheesy to you, which might whatever it is, but an impact of unity through the good guy symbol, which was that. It just meant a lot. And every time I watch that, it does remind me of the relationship that you had, and even I had with Nabil, because every time, and this was the days where you guys came to each other's houses. It wasn't like WhatsApp call or whatnot. No, there was no phone. This was when you dial the phone, and you fuck up the phone. There was those days, right? Stealing that from Chris Rock, and you go to each other's houses, and every time he left our house or you left his house, it was, all right, bro, take care, get home safe, and it was the symbol. It was that. And that movie will forever remind me of Nabil and just remind me of that relationship. And this is how impactful some of these movies from what we grew up with are in our life. They're not just movies which we love. They built like relationships. They built chapters in our lives. There's chapters in our lives and people in our lives that relate to certain movies. You know, my father's always going to be Western movies and war movies. You know, it's always, that's going to be for life. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's so many things. I had to explain that to the missus when she asked about that. I'm glad you asked about that. Like, I can't explain to you where John Carpenter got it from, but I could tell you how that relates to me and my brother and Nabil, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, no, this movie holds a dear place in my heart because it's true fantasy as well. Nabil used to write, bro, and that movie inspired him a lot when it comes to writing fantasy. You know, yeah, he read books like crazy, bro. We did comic books together, which was amazing. We got some great memories together, but that was the call sign for us when we left. You know, it meant so much to us that we were those characters in the playground, bro. It was me, him, and Ozan, bro. Ozan, I know it's deep, but we used to say, bro, you're the one who explodes, bro. I'm sorry. You had to be the inflatable one. I'm sorry, bro. But you know, in general, like with that connection with that movie, and I think that's the reason why I still watch it, because it's my processing mechanism. It's the only thing that I got left of what Nabil in this world. As much as I've got all the good memories, I'll always have the good memories, his laugh, his creativity, his writing skills, you know, the way he articulated himself. But that movie was ours. That movie will always be ours. That movie will always, you know, I will see Nabil in that movie. Doesn't matter. So that's what it means to me. This is a great epic fantasy movie, which I totally adore, and I feel like it has friendship in there. It has good versus evil. It has, you know, Elseworld stories in there as well, which is absolutely amazing. Chinese, even if they are, you know, real or not, they have these sort of stories, and they've brought them into this world, which is about absolutely amazing. So, Big Trouble in Little China, man, great movie. Yeah, absolutely, I love it. It'll always be a part of, as you said, my memories of Nabil and what it will bring back for me. And yeah, rest in peace, bro. Honestly, there we
Rest
go.
in
We
peace.
dedicate this one to Nabil Sharif. Not forgotten. You always creep up. You always creep up, bro. Always do. You always do. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, beautiful movie, guys. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Check it out and watch it. Try to watch it as you were in
Open-minded as
1986.
is possible.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
how to say. Yeah, just to give it a chance. Not ignore, appreciate it for what it was for back in 1986, and try and visualize how amazing that was for back then. Great movie, guys. Check it out. Oh man, well, that's the end of that, guys, man. Kibbs, I'll let you finish us off, man. Come on, I got nothing else. Was there anything else? If not, let's take us out, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome. Listen, guys, as always, massive thank you for the support on the channels and the love on the channels, guys. Make sure you click subscribe if you think this is going to be something that you're into. Let's do a weekly podcast, which is on YouTube, but we stream across other platforms as well, which is Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify. Make sure you check them out. Follow us on our Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X page. And as always, guys, massive thank you, and we'll catch you guys on the next show. Peace.
All right, we out. Peace. Let me